Hello, English learners. Welcome back to another great lesson here at English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name is Catherine. So, Marco, today we've got a little bit of an unusual lesson because we're talking about hypothetical situations.
Right. We're talking about a unreal situation or something that may happen or may not happen.
Okay, so you're going to hear all about this in today's dialogue. We're going to hear it a couple of times. When we come back, we'll be breaking it down for you so you know all about these great phrases and how to talk about not real situations with your friends.
Next question. If Eric asked you out on a date, what would you say?
Duh. I would say yes. Eric is the most popular kid in school. Okay, my turn. What would you do if you won the lottery?
Let's see. If I won the lottery, I would buy 2 tickets for a trip around the world.
If you buy me a ticket, I'll go with you for sure.
My dad would freak out if I even mention a trip like that.
All right, this is a good one. What would your mom say if you told her that you're going to get married?
If I told her that, she would faint and have me committed.
All right. So
Dialogue.
I think that was clear and, well, a very common situation. 2 teenage girls talking to each other about, boys and what would you do and da-da-da.
Guys do this too, so don't just put this on the girls, okay?
I don't think we do it like this, though.
No, but it's actually a very popular game in the car to play, the what if game.
The what if game,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's exactly the topic that we want to talk about today is the structure what if, which is actually called a...
All right, it's a conditional because the result, the thing that happens, depends on something else.
Exactly.
So let's actually take a look at the words in today's language takeaway before we talk about all this grammar stuff.
Language takeaway.
So we'll start out with some basic words. They were talking about guys, and she said if Eric asked you out, right? So to ask somebody out.
Okay, so this might be a little bit strange because you think it's to ask a question. But to ask out, it's a fixed phrase. It's something you say. These 2 words go together, right? So I want to ask someone out. It means I want to invite someone on a date.
On a romantic date, usually.
So yeah, I want to ask him out to dinner, or he asked me out to the movies.
Now, if I didn't want to ask somebody out on a romantic date, what verb would you use?
I'd say you could invite someone out, but then again, it's always a little bit, you can say invite for someone if you're going to ask them on a date too. So
Yeah.
I'd say to ask out is always romantic, and to invite can be romantic or just friends.
Okay. So to ask somebody out. Now, they were talking about other situations. Maybe they would go on a trip or something. And she said, my dad would freak out.
This is a great phrase, and this is something that I used a lot when I was a teenager.
The word freak out?
Freak out. So the verb to freak out means to be really angry or upset, or it could be a good thing or a bad thing. But usually when we're talking about our parents,
It's a bad thing. So they get angry. They start yelling at you.
yeah, so
Freak out.
freak out means like overreact.
All right.
Other example.
And the last word that we have on language takeaway today is committed.
Well, let's look at the whole phrase. He says, she would have me committed. So this is actually being done to someone.
Now, we did look at this word before, but basically for marriage, right? To commit to somebody, to promise.
Yeah, but to have someone committed means that you're going to send them away to maybe a mental institution.
Exactly.
So this means they have psychological problems and someone else sends them to the hospital because they can't send themselves.
Exactly. So it's always used to have someone committed, right?
Right? Because it's being done to them. They don't want it to happen. It's involuntary.
So she had him committed.
My mom's going to have me committed if I keep working 20 hours a day.
Exactly. So that's the way you use it. And so now you have another way of using this verb. But now I think we should listen to this dialogue again. We're going to slow it down a little bit, and then we'll come back and look at this grammar focus that we want to talk about.
Next question. If Eric asked you out on a date, what would you say?
Duh. I would say yes. Eric is the most popular kid in school. Okay, my turn. What would you do if you won the lottery?
Let's see. If I won the lottery, I would buy 2 tickets for a trip around the world.
If you buy me a ticket, I will go with you for sure.
My dad would freak out if I even mention a trip like that.
All right, this is a good one. What would your mom say if you told her you were going to get married?
If I told her that, she would faint and have me committed.
All right, so we understood all the vocab now. Now let's take a look at these unreal situations and what we were saying, the what if game.
Right. So I think it's important to push these into two different categories, right? We have one kind where it's very unrealistic. It's probably not going to happen, that kind of situation. And the other one is a situation that could very well happen, something that's probably very common. Okay. So the first one we're going to talk about is very unrealistic situations, things that probably won't happen.
Okay, so let's take a look at an example that we found in the dialogue. The most common one, and I think everybody gets asked this question, is if you won the lottery, what would you do?
Okay, if you won the lottery. So this is a situation that's very uncommon, right? Not many people win the
Vocabulary
lottery.
preview.
So we have to say, if you won the lottery. So we use this verb in the past tense. If you won the lottery, if this happened, what would you do?
Right.
All
so,
right.
Catherine, if you won the lottery, what would you do?
If I won the lottery, I would buy a boat and sail around the world with my friends.
All right. So another example, again, using the same structure, right? The verb in the simple past tense, we would say, if you were stuck on an island with one other person, who would that be?
All right. So if you were stuck on a desert island with one person, who would that person be? So Marco, I'm going to ask you, who would it be?
I think it would be an engineer or a scientist that could probably get me off the island.
What about your girlfriend?
No, well, that's the point. If I can get to her quicker.
Oh, okay. I would say maybe kind of romantic, but kind of. So that's the first situation. We've got these situations like being stuck on an island, winning the lottery. These are very unlikely. But what about the other kind?
But before we move on to that, you notice that we used the verb was. We didn't say if I was on an island. I said if I were, right? Or if you were. So this is the way that you use it in these conditionals. If I were you, or if you were president of the United States.
Yeah, this is a rule. So this is a grammar rule. We're not going to describe why it happens because it's very, very complicated and you can look it up on our site, but we're going to describe how to use it. That's the most important. So we can say, for example, Marco, if I were you, I would dye my hair red.
Why?
I don't know. I think it would look cool.
I don't think so.
So if I were you, I would. Or if you were me, what would you do?
Exactly. So we always use it like this, right? If you're going to use this conditional, always use were for the subject, never was.
Right. So you can tell this is very, very big grammar
Dialogue.
issue. A lot of English speakers make this mistake.
Yes, very many. So, but now you know that you shouldn't make this mistake and you can speak properly. All right, so now that we've seen these semi-unreal situations, let's move on to something that's a little bit more probable, that it may happen.
Right, so we've got these situations that are common or likely. For example, in this lesson we hear, I will go with you for sure. So this is, if you buy me a ticket to travel, of course I will go with you. So if you buy, this is in the present tense, if you buy, then I will.
Right. So now you notice the difference. The verb is in the present, and then we use, instead of would, we use will. So again, I can say, if it rains tomorrow, I will stay home and watch TV all day.
Okay, so think about this. We talked about going to desert islands. Now we're talking about rain and the weather. They're very, very different. The rain is very common. So we can say, if it rains tomorrow, I will need an umbrella. What about this? If we have lunch tomorrow, what will we eat?
So we have lunch pretty much every day, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So again, it's a situation that is very probable. So if we have lunch tomorrow, we will probably eat, I don't know, pasta, I think. I'm feeling like pasta tomorrow.
Pasta?
Yeah.
Some noodles?
Yeah.
All right, so Marco, let's take another listen to some of these phrases and try and figure out, while you're listening, which kind of conditional it is, first or the second.
Example 1.
If it's sunny today, we will go to the park.
Example 2.
I would get a divorce if I were you.
Example 3.
Mary will be very sad if Joe leaves.
Example 4.
We wouldn't be so late if Nick drove faster.
Very good. So we heard different examples, and the first conditional is the one that we mentioned is very probable, and the second conditional is the one that's not so probable. So they're very easy to distinguish. You don't really need to know the
Other
names.
example.
Just know how to use them, right?
Exactly. And so just remember, if you were me, what would you do? We've got these kind of pairs, these words that go together. And the other one is more common. It's, if it rains tomorrow, I will bring an umbrella.
Perfect. So why don't we listen to this dialogue for the last time, just to kind of reinforce everything, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more.
Next question. If Eric asked you out on a date, what would you say?
Duh. I would say yes. Eric is the most popular kid in school. My turn. What would you do if you won the lottery?
Let's see. If I won the lottery, I would buy 2 tickets for a trip around the world.
If you buy me a ticket, I'll go with you for sure.
My dad would freak out if I even mention a trip like that.
All right, this is a good one. What would your mom say if you told her that you're going to get married?
If I told her that, she would faint and have me committed.
So, Marco, if we talk any more about grammar, someone's going to have me committed.
It is a little bit difficult to talk about grammar, especially on a podcast, because it's such a difficult topic and it's also kind of heavy, right?
It is, but I'll tell you this. These are very, very common phrases. People use these all the time. We talk in hypotheticals very often.
Yeah.
So if you're asking for advice, for example, or if you're just playing a game in the car, you're going to encounter these, and it's very important to be able to know how to use them.
So this is what we want to see now. Please come to our website at englishpod.com, and you have a million questions. You have a million hypotheticals that you can leave on our website. So let us know. Ask us the craziest, funniest, weirdest questions that you can, right?
Exactly. And if you have questions about the stuff that we've been talking about, you're not really clear on some things, just ask us, because we're happy to answer your questions and give more examples on the website.
All right. So we'll see you guys there. And until next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Second paragraph in the dialogue.
All right, let's dive in. Ready for another deep dive?
Yeah, let's do it.
Today we're going to really get into something that we all use every day. I mean, obviously, right?
Intriguing.
Vocabulary, yeah, vocabulary. But we're not just going to like define words, right?
Right.
We're going to go a little deeper.
Beyond the dictionary.
Yeah, exactly. Beyond the dictionary definitions to see how to actually, use these words.
Yeah. In real life conversation.
In real life conversation, right? So think about it.
Okay.
Think about words and phrases that you might use.
Like in everyday situations.
Yeah, exactly.
Vocabulary
like social
preview?
situations.
Okay.
And in our sources, we're going to be looking at,
This is particularly focused on
kind of the language of,
alcohol, actually.
parties, alcohol.
Gatherings, maybe even
Gatherings.
a
Yeah.
rough morning after.
The morning after. Ooh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So,
You've been there.
maybe.
All right. I won't pry.
But, our sources talk about
I think we all have.
the hangover.
Ah, yes. The dreaded hangover.
That, fuzzy, I need like a gallon of water.
Head pounding.
Yeah, head pounding feeling.
Yeah.
You get after a night out.
It's interesting. I think it's interesting how this whole concept of a hangover, it kind of transcends like cultures,
Right.
It's almost like this universal experience.
Yeah, it really is.
But the way we talk about it, the remedies,
So yeah.
even just how acceptable it is to admit to having one, it all varies widely.
Oh, it's true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Because like in some cultures, admitting to a hangover is like,
A badge of honor.
yes, a badge of honor.
It's like a sign of a good time.
Right. And in others, it's like,
You're taboo.
yeah, you're admitting to overindulging.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Like, you shouldn't have done that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious. Have you ever encountered like any surprising cultural differences when it comes to like, alcohol
Oh,
or
absolutely.
hangovers?
Yeah. I mean, think about like some European countries, for example. It's common to see people enjoying a glass of wine with lunch,
Oh, yeah.
even on a workday.
I know.
The attitude towards alcohol is just much more relaxed,
It's like integrated into their daily life.
Yeah, exactly. Moderate drinking is just kind of part of the culture.
Right. And then you compare that to like,
The U.S. and Canada,
yeah, U.S. and Canada.
where the legal drinking age is 21, there's a strong emphasis on like responsible drinking, preventing underage consumption.
Right. It's like two different worlds, right?
It's like two different worlds.
Yeah.
And those differences are reflected in the language we use, too.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It is.
So one of the phrases that that our source material uses is drink fest.
Ah, yes, drink fest.
It's informal.
It is.
Playful,
Playful.
almost celebratory, right?
Yes, exactly. And that fest suffix,
Oh, yeah, the fest.
it's super interesting.
Like Oktoberfest.
Exactly. It's like a linguistic shortcut to
Yeah.
say a whole lot of.
Ooh, a whole lot of.
Yeah, you can have a food fest,
Oh, a food fest.
a music fest,
This is, yeah.
even a puppy fest.
Oh, a puppy fest. I like that one.
Yeah, it instantly injects fun
Mm.
and the sense of abundance into
Yeah.
any word.
I like that. So it's like,
Yeah.
if you're describing a party to a friend,
Right.
you could say it was a total drink fest.
Exactly.
And it just like paints a picture.
It does. It paints a vivid picture.
Okay, and speaking of vivid, let's talk about a word that people, I think sometimes
Oh, this one's interesting.
makes them squirm a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Nauseous.
Nauseous, yeah.
Nauseous. That feeling of,
Queasiness.
yeah.
Dizziness, like your stomach's doing somersaults.
Oh, yeah.
You might,
see.
well...
See your dinner again.
Yeah, let's just say that.
We'll just say that. No need to get too graphic.
No need to get too graphic.
But nauseous perfectly captures that feeling.
It does, and it's a word that people often trip up on, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How so?
Some people use it to mean disgusted,
Oh,
but the correct meaning is that feeling of sickness,
of course.
the urge to vomit.
Got it.
Our source material actually describes it as busy with an upset stomach.
Okay. I can practically feel it just thinking about
Yeah,
it.
it's not a pleasant feeling.
It's not, no, definitely not. I'm definitely someone who needs to stay hydrated,
Oh, yeah.
especially if I've, had a few drinks.
Important.
Which reminds me, dehydrated is another key word in our deep dive today.
Absolutely, yeah.
Go.
Alcohol is a diuretic,
Oh, okay.
meaning it makes you lose fluids.
Okay.
That's why it's so crucial to, drink plenty of water, especially if you've been enjoying alcoholic beverages.
Right.
Dehydration contributes significantly to that awful hangover feeling.
So if you find yourself saying, my head has been pounding all day,
A classic.
you're probably dehydrated, right?
Chances are, yeah.
That pounding sensation, that throbbing in your temples.
Telltale sign.
Yeah, telltales.
And notice how powerful the word pounding is,
Yeah.
It creates such a strong sensory image.
Okay.
Much more impactful than simply saying, I have a headache.
Uh-huh.
You can almost hear the beat, feel the pressure.
It's like your head is a drum.
Exactly.
Someone's having a solo performance.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of things getting a little out of control, that's our next phrase.
Yeah.
Things got a little out of hand.
Okay, so that's an idiom,
Okay.
meaning the words together have a figurative meaning
Right.
that's different from their literal meanings.
Okay, so.
Out of hand
Yeah.
doesn't literally mean someone lost a hand,
Right.
but rather that a situation became chaotic, unmanageable,
Okay, so, like, that party in the source material?
right? That party where things got so wild,
Yeah, the neighbors complained.
the neighbors complained.
Or maybe, you're telling a story about,
A work project
oh yeah, a work project.
where deadlines were missed,
The budget exploded.
the budget exploded, things got a little out of hand.
Yeah, sums it up perfectly.
Sums it up perfectly
A phrase that you can use.
in a variety of situations.
Yeah, in lots of different situations.
And it always implies
A loss of control.
a loss of control, yeah.
Okay, but there are times when things go right.
Right?
When everything's calm,
Control.
under control.
And
For those moments,
we have the phrase, everything was cool.
everything was cool, yeah.
Like the opposite of out of hand.
Yeah.
Conveying a sense of ease, smooth sailing,
Okay, so it's like, a phrase that pops up in,
casual conversation.
in casual conversation.
Reflecting a relaxed and positive vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how, cool has become such a versatile word in English.
It really has.
It can describe,
Temperature, status,
temperature, yeah.
style, even a situation.
it's the
Other
ultimate word for,
Everything's good.
everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speaking of which, let's talk about another phrase that expresses agreement.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
Tell me about it. This one is all about shared experiences and empathy. So, imagine someone complaining about the scorching heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And You reply with, tell me about it. I'm melting over here.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Right. It instantly creates this connection, this sense of understanding.
It's like saying you're preaching to the choir.
Exactly.
Or I've been there, done that.
Been there, done that.
It validates the other person's feeling, shows you're on the same page.
Absolutely.
So it's a great phrase to kind of have in your conversational toolkit,
It is.
especially when you want to, like,
Show empathy.
yeah, show empathy and build rapport.
Exactly. And it can also be used with a touch of humor.
Oh, okay.
Like when someone complains about like a long line, a traffic jam,
Right.
you know, by saying, tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
You acknowledge their frustration,
Right.
but you also inject a bit of lightness into the situation.
So it's not just about agreeing.
No.
It's about like connecting with the other person
Exactly.
on an emotional level.
On an emotional level.
All right. And that's the beauty of language.
Yeah. That's the beauty of language.
It allows us to express.
Yeah. Not just facts, not just information,
But emotion.
and a shared experience.
And shared experience.
I love that.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's like we're always looking for those connections, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Those moments of like shared understanding.
Right.
And language is the tool
Yeah.
that lets us bridge those gaps. It is. It totally is.
Mm-hmm.
So our source material talks about
Oh, yeah, this is an interesting one.
hitting up different places,
Hitting
like bars or restaurants, right?
Yeah, hit up is a great example of informal language. It's
Yeah.
just a much more casual and dynamic way to say,
To say what? Like go to?
yeah, go to, visit.
Okay.
But it implies a sense of action, you know?
It's like you're not just passively going somewhere.
Exactly.
You're like actively seeking out
Seeking out an experience,
an
yeah?
experience. Yeah, yeah. Like
Let's hit up that new taco place.
oh yeah, let's hit up that new taco place.
What everyone's raving about.
Right, exactly.
That's a lot more exciting than...
Than just let's go to the taco place.
Yeah, let's go to the taco place, right?
It does.
It just adds a layer of enthusiasm, informality to the action.
Okay.
And it's a phrase that's often used
Wait a minute.
when talking about social gatherings,
Right.
especially those involving, well,
Let's say adult beverages.
adult beverages. There you go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, like we hit up a couple bars last night.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It just paints this picture of a fun,
Spontaneous
spontaneous, night out.
night out.
Vocabulary preview.
Okay. And speaking of meeting up with friends,
Yeah.
our sources also mention met up with.
Met up with.
Seems pretty straightforward, but
I mean, it does seem straightforward.
is there like a subtle difference
Well, there is
between met up with and just
the addition of up in, met up with
mm-hmm.
adds a touch of informality.
like hit up?
Similar to hit up, yeah.
Okay.
It's just a more casual,
Mm-hmm.
planned encounter.
So not like you bumped into them randomly on the street.
No.
Okay.
Like, for example,
Yeah.
I met up with some friends for coffee.
Right.
It implies that you made arrangements beforehand.
Okay. So it was intentional, right?
Intentional, yeah. It's a subtle distinction, but it can really change the tone of your sentence.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And it's those subtle nuances
Right.
that can make or break a conversation,
They really can.
right? Because they can convey like, you know,
Your attitude.
our attitude.
Your relationship with the person you're talking to.
Right. Or even just your level of comfort
Comfort with the language.
with the language.
Right.
It's like those unspoken rules of
Yeah.
communication.
The things we pick up on subconsciously.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of unspoken rules,
This is a good one.
let's talk about a phrase
Okay.
that's often used humorously.
All right.
Drank everything in the bar.
Drink everything in the bar. Now, this is a great example of
Avoid
hyperbole.
hyperbole.
Deliberate exaggeration for comedic effect.
So, obviously,
Obviously, no one literally drinks everything in a bar,
right.
but the phrase conveys like a sense of
Excess.
excess. Yeah.
Of a particularly wild
A particularly wild night out.
night out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like saying,
Oh, I like this.
I'm so hungry I could eat a horse.
There you go. Right. Classic.
You wouldn't actually eat a horse,
But
but
it just emphasizes the
Agreed.
intensity of your hunger.
Right.
Similarly, drank everything in the bar
yeah,
paints this humorous picture
of overindulgence.
of overindulgence. Yeah.
Right, and it often kind of implies
Sense of camaraderie.
oh, camaraderie. Okay.
Yeah, like a group of friends having a really good time.
and they getting a little carried away.
Maybe getting a little carried away. Yeah.
Right. But it's a phrase that's like
Best used among close friends.
yeah, close friends.
To understand your sense of humor.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about the
Context.
context and the tone.
Then the tone. Yeah.
Okay, now shifting gears a bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about a phrase that's often used
Okay.
to mark a transition in someone's life.
Ooh. A transition.
Going away party.
Going away party. Yeah, that one's pretty self-explanatory. It's
Yeah.
a party held to celebrate someone who's leaving,
Right.
whether it's for a new job, a move to a new city, a long trip.
Yeah.
It's a chance to say goodbye,
Right.
share memories, and wish the person well on their new adventure.
It's like a ritual, right?
Yeah, it's like a ritual.
Like a way of acknowledging a significant change and offering support
Yeah, offering support
to the person that's moving on.
to the person who's moving on. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity to, like,
Oh, yeah, put into practice.
practice some of this vocabulary.
Yeah, some of the vocabulary we've been learning today.
Word today, right?
Imagine yourself at a going away party,
Mm.
casually saying, let's hit up the bar and raise a toast to the guest of honor.
Oh, I like that.
Or maybe you're recounting a funny story from the party, you know?
Mm.
Things got a little out of hand.
Things got a little out of hand, but everyone had a blast.
But everyone had a blast, right?
Yeah, exactly.
See how those phrases can just help you navigate those social situations with confidence and flair.
It's like having, like, a secret decoder ring
Ooh, I like that.
for everyday conversations.
Yeah, you start to notice those subtle nuances,
Mm.
the ways in which people use language
Right.
to express themselves, connect with others.
And the more you pay attention to those nuances, the more fluent you become
Right. The more fluent you become, yeah.
in the language of,
Social interaction.
social interaction.
Mm-hmm.
You start to understand, like, the unspoken rules,
The unspoken rules.
the cultural cue,
The cultural cues.
the humor,
The humor.
the empathy.
Funny, yeah.
It's all, like, embedded in the way we speak.
It's all there. It's fascinating.
It is. It really is. It's like unlocking a whole new
Level of understanding.
level of understanding.
Yeah.
Right. And that understanding
Can make all the difference. Yeah.
in how you navigate the world around you.
It can help you build stronger relationships,
Absolutely.
communicate more effectively,
Communicate more effectively.
and feel more confident
And feel more confident
in your interactions with others.
in your interactions with others. Yeah.
It's like having a superpower.
It is. It really is.
Okay, speaking of superpowers, let's revisit the concept of
Do you-
hydration.
Dehydration. Yeah.
Right. Now, it might not seem like a superpower,
Right.
but understanding how dehydration affects your body
Can be incredibly empowering.
can be incredibly empowering, especially
Especially if you've ever
experienced a hangover.
experienced a hangover. Yeah.
Right, that feeling of weakness, fatigue, headache.
Classic symptoms.
Right, it's often
A direct result of dehydration.
a direct result. Right, so knowing how to
Prevent and
combat dehydration
Dehydration, yeah.
can make a huge difference. Right?
Can make a huge difference in your overall well-being. So it's like having a
secret weapon.
secret weapon against those,
Post-party blues.
post-party blues.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking plenty of water,
Drinking plenty of water.
electrolytes,
Electrolytes.
maybe even a little coconut water.
Coconut water can be good.
Right.
These are
Some
simple strategies.
Simple strategies, but
they can help you bounce back faster
right, and feel your best.
and feel your best. Yeah.
Right. So it's not just about the vocabulary.
Right.
It's about understanding.
The science behind those words,
Yeah.
the real life implications
Right.
of what we're talking about.
It's about connecting the dots, right?
Connecting the dots, seeing the bigger picture.
Seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And that's what makes language learning so
Fascinating.
fascinating, because it's not just about
Memorizing words.
memorizing words. It's about
Understanding the world around us.
understanding the world around us.
Yeah.
It's about, connecting with others, sharing experiences,
Sharing experience.
and expressing ourselves in ways
Yeah.
that are meaningful
meaningful
and impactful.
and impactful.
And sometimes, just about,
having a little fun.
having a little fun with language.
Right. Absolutely. Remember, language is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And like any tool, it can be used in countless ways.
Right.
It's up to us
Yeah.
to explore those possibilities
Mm-hmm.
and use language to create, connect, and inspire.
I love that.
Mm,
And who knows?
yeah.
Maybe we'll even discover a few new superpowers along the way.
Along the way, yeah.
Okay, now, speaking of discoveries, let's dive into a word
All right.
that often evokes, like,
Ooh, a visceral reaction.
a visceral reaction.
Yeah, not bad.
Nauseous.
Nauseous, yeah.
It's not a pleasant feeling, but
No, it's not.
it's one that,
we all experience.
we
it
all
once.
experience at some point
At some point,
in our lives.
Yeah, in our lives.
It's have, that queasy feeling.
Yeah, the stomach churning sensation.
Yeah, stomach churning.
Mm-hmm.
That can be triggered by everything.
Oh, yeah.
From a bad meal
From a bad meal,
to a bumpy car ride.
the bumpy car ride.
Right. And sometimes it's a sign that
Something more serious is going on.
yeah, something more serious is going on. So
It's important to pay attention to those signals our body sends us. And
Right.
nausea is definitely a signal.
we shouldn't ignore.
We shouldn't ignore, yeah.
And if you find yourself saying, I feel nauseous,
Yeah.
chances are you're not in the mood for a
Drink fest.
a drink fest
Or a wild night out.
or a wild night out.
Probably not.
Probably not. No.
It's a good time to
So rest,
hydrate
hydrate,
and maybe even consult a doctor, right?
and maybe even consult a doctor. Yeah.
If the feeling persists.
If the feeling persists, definitely.
Right. It's all about
Listening to our bodies,
and taking care of ourselves.
taking care of ourselves. Okay. And sometimes the best way to take care of ourselves is to
just relax.
relax.
Enjoy some good company.
Oh, yeah. Good company.
Which reminds me. Let's revisit that phrase.
Okay.
Everything was cool.
Everything was cool.
Ah, yeah.
The ultimate expression of
Peace,
we have
serenity,
John
and everything going according to plan.
everything going according to plan. Yeah.
It's like that feeling of contentment
Yeah, that feeling of contentment
when you're surrounded by friends.
when you're surrounded by friends.
The conversation is flowing.
The conversation is
The
flowing.
vibes are good.
The vibes are good, yeah.
Right? No drama, no stress.
No drama, no stress.
Just pure
Enjoy.
enjoyment.
Yeah.
It's like a
Like a mini vacation
mini vacation
from the chaos of everyday life.
from the chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a feeling that we can cultivate.
We can cultivate it through conscious effort
Conscious effort, yeah.
by choosing to focus on
The positive.
the positive, appreciating the simple things,
Appreciating the simple things.
surrounding ourselves
With people who bring us joy.
with people who bring us joy, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes
And sometimes
that's all we need
that's all we need
to feel truly
truly cool.
cool. It's not about
It's not about being trendy,
trendy or popular.
trendy or popular.
It's about finding that
Inner peace
inner peace
and contentment.
and contentment. It's about being like comfortable in your own skin
Comfortable in your own skin.
and enjoying the moment
Enjoying the moment
for what it is.
for what it is.
And speaking of enjoying the moment,
Ooh, I like this transition.
let's talk about a phrase
Okay.
that's all about expressing, like
Enthusiasm
enthusiasm,
and excitement.
excitement. Okay,
Let's do this.
let's do this.
Now, this is a phrase that can be used in countless situations,
sure.
from starting a new project to embarking on an adventure to simply deciding what to have for dinner.
Right.
Let's do this.
Let's do
This
this.
conveys a sense of
Energy.
determination.
Determination, willingness to embrace
Yeah, whatever comes next.
whatever comes next.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like a call to action.
A call to action. Okay.
You're saying, I'm ready, I'm excited, let's make it happen.
It's like a verbal high five, right?
It is like a verbal high five.
Yeah.
It's a way of like
Pumping yourself up,
pumping yourself up. Yeah.
getting in the right mindset.
Getting in the right mind.
And it can be
contagious.
contagious.
Yeah.
When you say, let's do this with genuine enthusiasm,
Right.
it can inspire those around you
Yeah.
to feel that same sense of excitement and motivation.
It's like a spark that ignites a fire.
It's like a spark that ignites a fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a catalyst for positive action.
For positive action.
Right. And sometimes
Sometimes
all it takes
it's
is
a simple phrase.
a simple phrase
Set the ball rolling.
to get the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And speaking of getting the ball rolling,
Oh, here we go again.
let's revisit that phrase.
All right.
Things got a little out of hand.
Things got a little out of hand.
Ah, yes. The reminder that not everything
Not everything
always goes according to plan.
always goes according to plan.
Life is full of,
Surprises.
listen,
And sometimes those surprises
it can be a little chaotic.
can be a little chaotic, yeah.
But even when things get out of hand,
Even when things get out of hand,
it's important to remember
that's important to remember.
that we have the power
The power
to regain control,
to regain control,
to learn
to learn from our experiences,
from our experiences, and to find humor
and to find humor in the unexpected.
in the unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that old saying,
Oh, what's that?
when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. There you go.
Right.
Classic.
Even in the midst of
Yes.
chaos,
Mm-hmm.
we can choose
We can choose to
find the silver lining,
find the silver lining.
Right.
Yeah.
to learn and grow,
To learn and grow from those experiences that
Yeah.
challenge us.
that challenge us.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes
Sometimes.
Those experiences lead to
The most interesting stories.
the most interesting stories.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The stories that we tell ourselves
The stories we tell ourselves
and each other
and each other
are what
shape our lives.
shape our lives and give meaning
and give meaning
to our experience.
to our experiences.
Right. And those stories are
They're
often
filled with vivid details,
vivid detail,
colorful language,
colorful language.
a touch of humor.
Yeah, they're what make us,
Human.
what connects
What
us
connect us to one another.
to one another. And
What
what makes
makes life so
incredibly fascinating.
fascinating.
Mm.
And sometimes
Sometimes
the most fascinating stories
the most fascinating stories.
are the ones that start with
Ooh, I like this. Okay.
the phrase,
What phrase?
"You won't believe what happened."
You won't believe what happened.
Yeah.
That's a great way to capture someone's attention.
It's like a linguistic hook, you know?
It's like a linguistic hook, yeah.
Yeah. Drawing the listener in,
Drawing the listener in,
making them eager
making them eager
to hear what comes next.
to hear what comes next.
And it sets the stage
That's at stake.
for a story that's sure to be
Entertaining.
insightful,
And maybe even
a little bit
a little bit out of control.
out of control,
Mm-hmm.
but in a good way, of course.
But in a good way, of course.
Right. It's all about finding that balance
That balance, yeah.
between
order and chaos.
order and chaos,
Mm.
between the expected and the unexpected.
The expected and the unexpected. And sometimes
Sometimes
the most memorable moments
some most memorable moments
are the ones that
defy our expectations.
defy our expectations.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that make us say,
Wow.
wow, I never saw that coming.
I never saw that.
And
clip.
those are the moments
that made life
that make life worth living.
worth living.
Mhm.
Right. The moments that
That surprise us,
surprise us,
delight us,
delight us,
challenge us,
challenge us,
and ultimately
but ultimately
make us who we are.
make us who we are.
Mhm.
And as we
And as we
navigate those moments,
language is our constant companion.
the constant companion,
It
right?
helps us express ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
connect with others,
Connect with others
and make sense
of the world around us.
of the world around us.
Yeah.
It's a powerful
It's a powerful tool,
tool, a gift,
a gift, a treasure
a treasure, yeah.
that we should cherish and use wisely.
Cherish and use wisely,
Mm-hmm.
and remember
And
the journey of language
the
learning.
journey of language learning is never ending.
Never ending, right?
There's always something
Yeah.
new to discover, a
Mhm.
new nuance to uncover,
Right.
a new way to express ourselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So keep
Exploring,
experimenting. And most importantly,
most importantly,
keep having fun with language.
keep having fun with language.
Mm-hmm. It really is amazing, isn't it?
It is.
How language can capture those moments
Yeah.
of surprise and those unexpected turns.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're constantly trying to find
Yeah.
the right words to express,
Yeah.
the chaos and beauty of life.
Right, exactly. And sometimes, the most ordinary phrases
Right.
take on new meaning when we use them to describe those,
Yeah.
out of hand situations. Out of hand, yeah.
Remember we talked about everything was cool.
Everything was cool. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting how that phrase
It is.
can also be used sarcastically, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when things are definitely not cool.
Right. It's like saying, "Oh yeah, everything's totally fine."
Yeah.
When you're actually dealing with a complete disaster.
Right. It's all about
Tone and context.
tone and context, yeah.
Mhm.
Imagine you're telling a story about a disastrous first date.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You could say, yeah, everything was cool.
Huh.
Except he spilled his drink on me.
Yeah.
And then his ex showed up and we got locked out of the restaurant.
Oh no.
Right. The sarcasm would be
Dripping.
dripping from every word.
It's from every word, yeah.
It's a way of, highlighting the absurdity of a situation,
Mm-hmm.
using humor to cope with
Yeah.
the chaos.
The chaos. Yeah, that's another power of language. It
Yeah.
allows us to find humor
Yeah.
in even the most challenging situations.
Right. It's like a linguistic pressure valve,
Ooh, I like that.
releasing tension and allowing us to connect,
Yeah,
through
shared laughter.
shared laughter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and speaking of connections,
Okay.
let's revisit that wonderful phrase.
Tell me about it.
Tell me about it. Yeah,
Such a simple phrase.
it is. Yeah.
But it can convey so much empathy
Hmm.
and understanding.
It's like a shortcut to saying, I feel your pain, or I've been there, done that.
Or, I've been there.
It creates that
instant camaraderie.
instant camaraderie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Acknowledging that,
We're all in this together.
We're all in this together.
Navigating the ups and downs.
Navigating the ups and downs of life.
Of life, yeah.
It's like a verbal hug.
It is like a verbal hug.
A way of saying,
You're not alone.
you're not alone in this.
Yeah.
And it's a phrase that can be used in so many situations, right?
Oh, countless situations, yeah.
From complaining about the weather to sharing, like, a personal struggle.
A personal struggle.
It's a reminder that we're
all human.
We're all human. We all have our moments.
We all have our moments.
Don't sometimes.
Sometimes all we need is someone to listen and say,
tell me about it.
Tell me about it, yeah.
Right. It's those simple acts of
Connection,
of acknowledging each other's experiences that make life,
richer
and more meaningful.
Yeah.
And language
is the bridge.
The bridge that allows us to
build those connections.
Mm-hmm. So as we wrap up this deep dive into vocabulary, let's remember that language is
more than just words.
Mm-hmm. It's a reflection of,
who we are,
how we see the world.
Yeah.
And how we
connect with each other.
Mm-hmm. Right?
And remember, the more we explore those nuances of language, the more effectively we can communicate, connect, and create those meaningful experiences in our lives.
I love that. So keep those conversations flowing, keep learning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep having fun. With the incredible gift of language.
We'll see
you next time for another deep dive.
See you next time.